at 55 seconds in, I put it as a WTF. It's like the person in the center, there's a circle in the dirt or something, and then just this naked, schleppy guy like comes in and puts his hand on the person's head. I'm like, oh, like this is inappropriate, except for this is a horror movie, so it's different. But like what the like what? That was a moment of me being like, oh, this I don't okay. This is gonna be one of those movies. This is gonna be one of those movies.
That's what I really wanted to do. I was like, oh, Evan's gonna have a really good reaction to this, I hope.
Are you in there?
So, Angel, you wanted to chat some trailers that just recently dropped that we're not going to be discussing, but ones that are sort of like on the radar, eh?
Yeah, a bunch of trailers have dropped recently. Just now, right before we hit record, I saw the new Superman full official trailer is online, so I'll have to check that out after we stop recording.
Well,
But then yesterday,
here's my question: Are you actually you're going to watch the full trailer? Like, I think I'm going to skip the Superman one because I don't want to. I know I'm going to see it, and I don't want too many spoilers.
yeah, I guess here's the thing. It's either I watch it now or I watch it when I go see Mission Impossible because it's
It'll
very
be in
likely
front
it's
of
going
it.
to be in front of
I
it. And
I
like,
used to sometimes cover my eyes when there were trailers in theaters for movies that I was going to see, and I didn't want spoilers.
yeah, I never did that. I just loved watching trailers. Just were always just so fun. They are still
Well,
fun to watch for
I mean,
me.
I
I mean,
think
I
they're
get
fun,
it.
but like, I mean, I guess that's sort of the decision. I think, like, some of the ones where we've seen some trailers and they've shown too much. Like, I don't want to see another one because I've already stopped it 5 seconds after I've already started seeing too much. That I
Yeah.
think it's an interesting debate on, like, do you just watch all the trailers, or do you stop when when the trailer's convinced you, right? Like,
Hmm.
because I know right before we saw the Batman with Heath Ledger, we did our run of watching all of the
Rewatching all the
Batmans,
Batmans.
but the DVD or Blu-ray or whatever of, was it, I guess, Dark Knight, um had
No, you got to mix
like
up. Batman
the
Begins.
oh, sorry, yeah, sorry, Batman Begins
Yeah.
had like a special, what is it, 5 minutes or 3 minutes of the beginning of the next movie,
Uh
and
huh.
we did watch that, which was kind of cool because I mean, it's the beginning, which I think it's all set up usually.
Yeah.
It's like the comfort zone or introducing the character, the
Hmm.
opening image. So it's less giving something away. But I'm definitely not gonna watch the new Superman trailer because I've already seen enough that like I want to be surprised.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I guess I'm a masochist. I like to just, especially seeing them. Maybe I'll try to hold off and watch it when I see Mission Impossible next week. I just try to just catch it in theaters just for like that first time seeing it and just like
Yeah.
hearing the people react to it as well and just kind of feel their excitement if they're excited as well. But one thing and then yesterday we talked about, I think it was yesterday, we texted about Nobody 2. The
Hmm.
trailer came out yesterday. I haven't watched it yet, but I was like so surprised that it was like almost 3 minutes long. I was like, holy cow. And the new Superman trailer is also 3 minutes long.
Boy.
It's
I
like
mean,
they're just like
and
just
I
jamming.
yeah, and I messaged you, it's 30 seconds too long. Like I was a fan of Nobody, uh the movie, and so I was excited to watch Nobody 2 trailer, but the last 20 to 30 seconds is additional action sequences that we didn't need to see, that's just giving away action sequences in the movie that I'd rather they just stopped it at 2:30,
Yeah.
2:20, because they already did a great job.
I mean, that's just like the running thing that we've kind of like talked about across the 20 or so episodes we've done. It's just like, I mean, we get it. Let's not show too much.
I would
And
we should try and get somebody who like advises on the data analytics of trailer watching to production houses, because I'm sure there's some data that says like these types of people like to see more and that entices them to go see it, and then these types of people want to be surprised, and these are the numbers on it. And I'm sure there's some internal debate on like how much do you show based on what's going to give you the most profits in the end.
I think it's more, I doubt it's like a profits analytics. It's more just like, I guess like what's I'm curious if they do show sort of like here's a 90-second trailer and then here's a 2-minute trailer. Like which one's gonna get you to buy a ticket or go see this
Yeah.
more? It's I'm sure like they do that, but like it's like what we talked about in the last episode. I don't understand you. You know that trailer just showed too much,
Mhm.
and we kind of just proposed like, hey, they should have just cut this off like 30 seconds earlier, and it would have been perfect. But
Yeah.
then they just show too much.
Well, but then it's perfect from our perspective, but I think
Yeah,
that's the debate, I guess.
yeah,
Because there's also, the films come out with multiple trailers now. It used to be, you only needed one, it's a trailer. And now you get the teaser, you get a trailer 1, you get trailer 2, sometimes
yeah.
more than 2 trailers.
Oh yeah, I also I think 2 days ago a new ballerina trailer came out. That movie has like 4 trailers. I think they're
Mm.
really trying to sell that. I think they're maybe the tracking on it
I
is
mean, I
not all
think
that
yeah.
great, and I think they're just trying to like, hey, let's get people excited for it. And I think they're really grasping at it and trying to get people. Hopefully, I want to see it. Hopefully, it's good. But like, I was surprised. There's another, and they called it the final trailer.
The final
So
trailer. Well, I'm curious if there's some correlation between the number of trailers and the number of the movie in the franchise. Like this is definitely for John Wick franchise after a many John Wicks, a TV show, and then this. Like, I'm curious if in the Avengers or Marvel, like the ones nowadays just have so many trailers because they're trying to fight the franchise fatigue.
possibly. I mean, also, a lot. I think a lot of factors are in play because it's also part of the marketing budget. Like, how much money do they have to market the movie? And because obviously producing the trailer, putting it out there in theaters, and all that, and costs money, and the TV spots and things like that. Well, TV spots are different, but
I mean, I would
yeah,
if I had like a certain amount of money though, I wouldn't make another trailer, I guess. I would just put it on more platforms more frequently. I feel like get it in front of eyes, but I don't know. It's not my field, I guess.
it's a tricky game. But and then just speaking of this, like those 2 trailers that we started talking about, Superman and Nobody 2, those are like just super long trailers and so much. But like this, what we're gonna talk about today, just over a minute long, I think.
Mhm,
Yeah, a minute,
mhm.
four
I mean,
seconds.
teaser.
It is a
It is
teaser.
a tease.
It's a teaser, and yeah, like we can get into it.
Welcome back to Trailer Teardowns. I'm one of your co-hosts, Evan Bass-Zeisel, joined by Angel Acevedo, and today we are discussing the teaser trailer for Bring Her Back.
Yeah, another A24 movie. I think A24 movies have taken the lead on our trailer teardowns since we've started. So, directed by brothers Danny and Michael Philippou. They directed 2022's Talk to Me, also by A24. That was a sleeper breakout hit horror movie with a
What was that
but.
one about?
I haven't seen it. It's on my list.
Oh,
It is basically, let me just, so I don't butcher it, but let me just pull up the quick
wait, what
log
do you
line.
remember? I want to know what you remember before you see the actual. What do you remember?
From the trailer that I remember, it's like they're talking to dead people, or they're trying to speak to people from on the other side
Oh,
of
is this
like
like the
existence.
teenagers? The teenagers and they're like at a party?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, I've seen that. Yeah, I saw the trailer for that. That looked interesting. Very
yeah. So
indie feel.
oh yeah, low budget horror. Yeah, it's about a group of friends who discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand. They can become
Yep.
hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. That's the
Gotcha.
IMDb. Yeah, that's been on my list. Want to check it out? Here, it's really good. So yeah, they directed that.
I thought it also alternatively could be just a phone sex call gone horribly wrong. Talk to me.
Yes,
Come on, talk to me,
talk to.
man. Come on, talk. Hey, I'm not weird. I'm not weird. Come on. It's like I just want to talk.
So yeah, that's like their only feature. They had this like I guess YouTube series called Raka Raka.
Hmm.
They did like 54 episodes, all independent. I have not seen any of it, heard of it, but like hugely popular, I guess, with the YouTube crowd. But yeah, Talk to Me was their breakout hit a couple years ago.
Cool.
So the movie stars Sally Hawkins, Billy Barrett, Misha Haywood, and a few others. It's coming out May 30th. And yeah, bring her back. Like I mentioned earlier, directed by two brothers. They're actually both twins.
I
They're
mean,
twin. They're twin
if
brothers.
one of them is a twin and they're brothers to each other,
No, they
I
have
mean, I
two
guess they could
separate
have.
twins.
Oh, gotcha.
No. They
Oh,
are twin brothers. They're twin
oh,
brothers. No, twin brothers, and yeah, they're young. They're like in their early 30s.
mm, cool.
So, what stood out to you on this?
First, I mean, I love the fact that it's simple and short. Like horror, is not my go-to genre, but I think they did a really good job of the tease. And I'm just throwing this out there, like the opening image of the cat, and it's like kind of quiet, but the cat's drinking out of a bowl, and the bowl is A24 branded, and I'm sure that's just for the teaser. It's not in the actual film,
Yeah,
but I love the fact that A24 is kind of like putting a stamp on their brand and their style. I actually enjoyed that. Like I thought it was very
they do that.
smoothly put
They
in.
actually do that for all their trailers. If you go back
Mm,
and look,
they're like
at
hidden for the
A24.
Easter
Yeah,
egg.
like the opening shot will have, or like maybe a couple seconds in, they'll have that. They'll embed the
Oh, perfect.
A24 logo into the scene.
Nice. Yeah, so I thought it did a really good job. And one of the things I thought was really interesting was the use of moving font in like an interesting way that we haven't seen before. So it was sort of done in a nod to the directors of or the people who brought you Talk to Me, but then they played around with like leaving one word on there and then adding
Hmm.
words that sort of were subtle and creepy in like a really smart way. I don't know how to describe it other than it just really worked well.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen that in other trailers in that way. Like I feel like we're not in like a renaissance of using font or whatever, but I think of Alan Moore. I think it's How to Write for Comics. He had this like dissertation in the 1980s to comic book writers on like stop writing crappy stories, like write better ones. And one of the things that he sort of put forth is use your medium. Like if you're doing comics, use what comics present and all aspects of it. You've got, the framing of things on the page, or you can go between pages, or you've got two pages, in an open sort of 1-2 sleeve, and then you have to turn a page. Like use that to your advantage. And I feel like just a parallel to that, I feel like trailer editors are starting to use font, like playing with the medium that they have to tell the story in interesting ways. We had like Sinners with using just sort of the transparent title to show the image, but you couldn't really see the image, so it made you want to see more. That the use of the font here, I thought was really smart and worked. It just worked really well. It like fit the creepy ass tone of this teaser.
Yeah, we watched it. We did it. I think I'm trying to recall a previous trailer that we tore down. It may. I think
That had a font,
that like
or
that played similarly with the font stuff as well, or the titles.
well,
The titles.
there was oh, the titles.
What was it?
There was the one based on the insanely true story. There's that one that was playing on, but that was more playing on sort of the critics' quotations
Yeah.
kind of aspect of it.
No, I think it
With
was.
the friendship title at the end, it was like had like a bubbly kind of title,
Well,
which was weird but super
are you
fit.
talking about more of the visual aesthetic of a font, or how they manipulate and move the font, or the
I think
text, the
I'm just saying
titles?
I'm saying all in
Okay.
general, like the use of font. So like in the past ones we've seen sort of the font style or the use of transparency, and I feel like this one did it in a different way with sort of the like appearing, phrases, but then keeping one word that made you
You're
focus on
oh,
it.
the whole
So in this
aspect
case
of
now
the
just like the presentation.
got it.
Yeah.
The whole aspect of the titles, not necessarily the font
Yeah.
design.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just like not having them just to give information, but to add to the feel
Hmm.
of the piece.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was the big thing that like jumped out to me. I was like, "Oh." And it was interesting because they start with the like, or was it directors of Talk to Me, but then there's other phrases in there, and I was curious because I hadn't looked them up, like, if those other what is it? Don't let them die," or something like that, or "Don't let me die," like, the other things, and I was like, "Oh, I don't think those are actually titles, I think it's now just, like, subliminal
Well,
messages
yeah, that's
that then will
interesting.
come back to the
I
title."
I had a note to talk about those titles because I mapped it out, like each instance when it changed and like what it was. Just I was like to
Yeah.
see if like what do you think it all means, but we can get to that later.
I'd be doing a deep dive now. You wanna jump into
So
that? Like, I'm
yeah,
curious.
no, I think and so yeah, like the titles, excluding the from the directors of Talk to Me.
Of Talk to Me.
Like the first
Yep.
title is me.
And but they leave me
Yeah,
on the
so like
screen, right? Yeah.
me, and then it goes let me out, and then it cuts to let me, and then it changes to let me die, and then it
Yep.
just says die, and then it changes to her, and then it says let her die, and
Mhm.
then it changes to let her, and then it reduces to just her, and then
Yep.
we get bring her, and then it's bring her back,
Bring
but
her
back is
back.
backwards,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
then the last
Which I
one,
think fits really well with the theme, I think, of this movie where it's like, it is an unholy thing bringing the person back.
yeah, then it changes as like the last title card for to tell the audiences what the movie is, what the movie's called. Bring her back. The word back flips to normal. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I was just like, kind of like, I mapped that all. And I'm like, okay, what are they trying to say? Me, die, her. Are they trying to like tell us something with all the
Mhm, mhm.
different single words? All the single every title that was single was like me, die, her, her. I don't know if there's sort of a pattern there. But yeah,
Mhm.
the word back being backwards initially is interesting because what we can sort of gather what this movie is about is someone dies and they're trying to bring them back from the dead,
Probably the mother bringing it back.
bringing a daughter back or a child back.
Yeah, yeah.
But then kind of like what we've seen in other maybe movies is like usually that's not natural and like usually you
Yeah.
want somebody to come back from the dead, but they're not
It
gonna.
never happens,
It
right? I
never
mean, it's
it's
never
not gonna
like,
be
there's never
the person's not gonna be the way they were, or even like Pet Cemetery, right? Like,
yeah.
you
A
bury
life after death, I think was a great, like, play on that one.
yeah, so like they're
Uh,
not back they don't return the same way they were before. So I think by having the word back reversed is kind of
mhm,
like a
mhm. It's like the unholy. Yeah, yeah.
subtle way of sort of like
And I think that's I mean, that's what I'm talking about, like, I think the use of the font to do that is really cool because you just get it.
mhm.
You're showing it as you're telling, but at the same time, you're not really telling. I mean, it didn't have any I think just the what is it, the VO of, like, the mother screaming of or the woman, like, I think it's like, "He's gonna bring it back for me," or some whatever.
There's very little dialogue used, and it's
Yeah.
I think the first thing is like hey, and it's very just like very quiet.
Yep.
And then the next one, "Hey, gorgeous." Well, I had to go back and like, what did they say?
Well, I had, it's always interesting to put closed captions on when watching it a second
Yeah,
time
yeah,
because then you hear the
yeah, yeah.
whispers.
That's what I
So,
did. I on
yeah.
the set on the I had to go back and rewatch. I'm like, oh, let me turn this on, and they say, "Hey, gorgeous." So I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy. Wait, it's just very
Mhm.
like low, and then at the end they say he's gonna bring her back,
Yeah.
and it's just like, who's he? There's some questions there, like, is it the devil? Is it that naked
Yeah.
guy?
Yeah, okay, 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 well, you brought it up now. Let's just talk about this. Oh, it's at 55 seconds in, I put it as a WTF. Like, it's like the person in the center, there's a circle in the dirt or something, and then just this naked, schleppy guy, like, comes in and puts his hand on the person's head. I'm like, "Oh, like, this is inappropriate," except for this is a horror movie, so it's different, but, what the
Yeah.
what? That was a moment of me being like, "Oh, this I don't okay.
I wish
This is
I
gonna be one of those
I would.
movies. This is gonna be one of those movies."
Yeah, this is one I was like, that's what I really wanted to do. This. I was like, oh, Evan's gonna have a really good reaction to this. I hope.
I mean, but I think eh, here's the thing. It does a great job of in a short amount of time giving you the full sense of it, and even even some details that give you, like, that shot, what kind of like weird movie this is gonna be. Like it's gonna be one of those indie movies where something super messed up is happening and they'll go that distance. Like you get the naked fat guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just it's totally it's gonna be disturbing, and it's just a different kind of horror, more
Mhm.
atmospheric than sort of gore, like gore fest, slash.
Yeah, I mean, it got the sense of, like, the quiet it's like the person who's brought back, I think, is this girl, and, like, her just staring or weird looks or moments, and it's gonna be those sort of jumps that it's gonna be it's all anticipation. It's anticipation probably of, like, what they're gonna do weird or, you know, the animals start showing up in the yard butchered or something like that. You never but it's I feel like it's gonna be one of those ones where you don't see it until you see it at the end, and then you know, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
like this, I feel like you could watch this teaser two different ways. You can watch it without the sound and still be get a sense and get that
Mhm.
atmosphere, just
Yeah.
like we talked about, like the titles coming in and out, like the words that they're used is just very succinct, stressing the word
The
die,
imagery. Yeah, yeah.
the imagery in it is just like they're quick, they're flashes, they're out of context in a way, disturbing. The shot of 44, the shot at 44 seconds, there's this shot of someone laying on the ground and their stomach is convulsing.
Oh,
It
yeah,
has more
yeah.
of an impact when you have it with the sound design, because the rapid
Mhm.
clicking just like is in sync with like the stomach.
Yeah, yeah.
34 seconds in, there's a reflection, there's a child reflected in the water, but it's the image is like the kid is upside down, and it just
Mhm.
creates this like discomfort. The bloody hand, that right
Yeah.
there, that's just kind of like also just like stark, and just like that red to me is just like super perfect. It almost looks like real blood.
I mean, it's also that's the go-to horror kind of you need to have that.
Yeah, nah, I
Like,
mean,
a blood like, it's I mean, it's, um yeah, I just feel like it plays to the audience, I guess, at some
mhm.
level.
The shot at 49 seconds. It's funny that I looked at I see your notes, and you also say WTF. We both have our own WTFs. Yours was of the bald fat guy at the end. Mine
Yeah.
was a few seconds earlier. The zombie girl raising her head on the video camera. That was a WTF moment. Like, it just looked super it just looked real and just like very super disturbing. Like the dead eyes, the makeup, like it's you can tell it's wet, the grainy video, just like what the F on that. So just those images, and
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
tied,
Eh
and right there I paused it at 49, tight close up on of that zombie girl head,
yeah, yeah.
her face, and then it's like bring her, like, it's just like, what is this? Going back to my sort of like theory that, like, yeah, you could watch this two different ways. You can watch it silent and get like a really good sense of this, and
Mhm.
it's very creepy. But then you can really, if you just listen to this,
Ramp it up.
if you
Yeah.
listen to it and not watch it, you still get a sense of like, what the heck is this? This sounds messed up.
Yeah.
And so that's what sort of like stood out to me. The sound design on this teaser is like extremely well done. It's creepy, it's guttural. There, it
Mhm.
sounds like sometimes there's like alien sounds, there's animalistic sounds in there.
Yeah.
If they give awards out for sound design and trailers, I feel like this has got to be like at the top.
Yeah. Well, it's and I think as we said, like I'm not the biggest horror genre fan. That said, as a trailer goes, this is like like you don't necessarily need anything else. This is the like you have this and you know exactly what you're getting. You're interested. It has that like essentially the inciting incident, right?
Hmm.
Like the kid dies and what is the response? Where, what if it was Dan Harmon's, story circle, it's like what is the need and where do they go? And they go into bring somebody back. And of course, they get their wish and they pay for it. And you get it all there. I feel like a lot, especially given this seems like the type of film where the anticipation and the small movements of like, oh God, what's going to happen is the scary. Like you don't want to give that away, which I think they do a great job and they have the setup.
Hmm.
Yeah, they do a great job.
Similar to you, like when you're like your first thoughts, like I didn't know. A lot of times I know, like, oh, this is that movie. Before I watch a trailer, I kind of know
Mhm.
going. I'm like, oh, this is the movie from these guys, or this is the new. But I didn't know. And A24 does kind of like covers a wide range of genres. You got your dramas, maybe your dark comedies and horror. So this, I feel like
Yeah.
didn't know going in, and so like when it opened with the cat, it threw me off. It's just like slow. I was like, oh, there's a
Mhm.
nice little cute cat drinking, eating milk or whatever, and then it kicks in, and you're like, oh, okay, this is not what I'm expecting, and then we go through the trailer.
Yeah, I mean, I'm curious if A24 is now, trying to creep into Blumhouse's area.
Oh, I mean, A24's been doing horror for a while now, like this indie horror.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
very
yeah. I mean, it sells.
Mhm. Yeah, and they do a lot of these horror films with filmmakers with very distinct voices and style,
Yeah.
which is cool. You know, it's not like you're very different from Blumhouse. You know, Blumhouse I feel like is more like your traditional Hollywood horror fare, but yeah, they make them for relatively cheap and they're very simple and
Mhm.
in terms of their concepts, and I think yeah they do well for the most part, if whether or not they're good or not.
Yeah.
Going back to the sound design, what also again because it really stuck out to me this in this teaser,
Mhm.
a lot of the sounds just like there's like just like maybe hitting, a lot of there's
Mhm.
percussion, just like very like maybe feet or hands are banging on the wall or doors and floor and just other similar sounds like that. It kind of reminded me a bit of the trailer for the 2003 Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake trailer.
Oh, it's been a minute
You
since
should
I've
definitely
seen
check
that
it out after
trailer.
this. It's a good trailer, despite what a lot of people think about the movie. Seeing that in theater, I remember people's reaction because there's a section of it where the screen goes black. And not that this teaser does that, but just there's like, I don't know, 5 seconds where it just goes black, 5, 10 seconds goes black. And it's just like all sounds. And you
Mm.
hear like Leatherface just like stomping around, and you hear the girl breathing. It's really well done, and in a big dark theater, it really played well. And what I heard that's like what Michael Bay and the producers of that film did that as a teaser to pitch it to the studio, like, hey, this is what the vibe we're going for, and like they
Mm.
incorporated it into the actual trailer for the movie. You should check it out. But it just reminded me of that, like just that sound design element to really just
Yeah.
emphasize the horror, the terror, the disturbing factors of it all.
So you did like the sound design with this one? I can't tell where you fall.
It's all right. Yeah.
Cool. Do we have a Angels YouTube corner?
We do, but hold on.
Oh,
Something
oh.
in the sort of like what section? The little details. I wonder if you caught this. Maybe
Mhm.
not. It seems like there's a circle round motif. I don't know if you caught that. There's just like a
I mean, there's, like, the head, there's the circle of the big person. What else with
so
circles? I'm
okay, so
trying to.
yeah, so at 51, there's like someone outlined in a circle on a child's
Yeah.
head, and then it cuts to that overhead shot of someone kneeling and standing in that circle made of white dirt or something, and where the creepy bald naked man walks behind. So there's that circle,
Uh-huh.
but then also in the titles, the O in "Let Me
Oh, like
Out" is filled
mm,
in. It starts empty, and then it's like filled in,
yep, yep,
and then
yep.
the O in 2025, at the end of the teaser, is also filled in. So like I don't know.
Interesting. Well, and all the times that there are O's in the font, so in the brother's last name is also a completely symmetrical circle. It's not like the standard oval kind of circle,
Mm,
too.
yeah. But like they emphasize those at least those two times where they like fill it in. And maybe that's a play on like video record, like
Mm.
when usually like when you hit record on a camcorder, it says REC and then there's like the red circle dot
Yep.
filled in. I don't know if it plays into that, but I don't know if there's just some sort of circle round motif in play in the movie itself. And I was just like wondering like, oh, what could that be if it is a motif?
Yeah, I mean, the other one I noticed just cinematographically is very much like not symmetry, but things being very centered in camera. There's like the cat walking down the hallway, and it's like centered in the center of that hallway. The the film camera viewfinder is in the center of frame. When you have the kid from the outside looking in, there's like literally a line of the window
Hmm.
straight down the top of her head, and it, left right is probably 50%. It's centered that there's when you see the kid looking in the
Yep.
pond again, centered. There's the funeral. It's like symmetry left right
Hmm.
as well. It's very interesting if and the same thing with the circle or the kid sitting down. Like if that starts one way and then maybe they play with that with part of the film when things get worse and worse, it gets more and more off-centered. I don't know.
Yeah.
But also
Oh,
something.
also, and I just caught this, and I don't know, it's hard to tell, but you kind of have to look at it and maybe study it a bit. The shot of Sally Hawkins putting her bloody hand on the mirror. She
Uh-huh.
doesn't make a circle, but if you look at it and pause it, there's like a streak as
Yeah,
if
yeah,
she
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
was doing
At
that.
40 seconds in.
So
Yeah.
there's got to be something there. I was curious what that could be.
Also, if you want to just talk about that shot, so what is it, 46 seconds in? Uh, it also looks like she's got a bandage around her arm, like it or something wrapped around her arm. It's not her shirt necessarily, but it could be. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it looks like, yeah. I wonder if, yeah, it looks
She's
like
been bitten.
bitten maybe,
I
or
don't
cut
know.
herself. But yeah, that definitely doesn't look like it's like her shirt sleeve just kind of like bunched together, like just like
Yeah.
a rag that she's tied up.
You ready to jump to Angel's YouTube
Oh yeah,
corner?
so yeah, a couple comments. Let me see what did I have? Okay. Oh yeah. I love someone says, I love the warm and uplifting vibe of this trailer. I'm sure it's going to be a great movie to watch if you want some minutes of pure joy.
The deadpan of YouTube comments.
So this one just kind of like raving about the trailer design. This trailer alone is a masterpiece, shows you enough to be interested, but it doesn't spoil anything.
Yep.
That is true. And then people have some love for the cat. Here we go. If the cat dies, we riot.
I mean, isn't that sort of the comments on Ballerina trailer is like, oh, it's really annoying that she's motivated by, like the death of her father instead
Oh
of
yeah.
the death of her cat. Like
Yeah.
that'd be more on point.
Maybe I bet that was the first draft. They're like, let's have her cat die. But like, no, let's not do that. All right, so let's guess each other's ratings here.
I
Oh,
feel like this is
I think I'm
like
gonna
the
win
audience.
this.
You guess, and I guess you will. Okay, where do you think I'm gonna
Okay,
fall?
let's see. Are you seeing it in theaters, or are you gonna stream it? If nothing else is on, hard pass. All right, so we know,
Angel's
definitely not.
Angel's doing the anticipation thing now. He's in
Okay,
line with the
okay. I'm
theme.
just gonna rule them out. I'm gonna do like what's that game show? Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Okay, not seeing it in theaters. You could take that out. Um, Stream it. I don't think you'll stream it. So it's either between if nothing else is on or a hard pass. Should I phone a friend? I'm gonna say hard pass for you.
I'm gonna say
Final
there's no chance
answer.
in hell I'm ever watching this movie because I will have nightmares. Like I will just not sleep.
Now, do you
Like
think?
I'm just not. I'm not the type of person that like fear of my own death or I don't know the like fear or being just super scared is something that gives me a positive adrenaline rush. It just ruins my life.
Yep. No,
Like, I think
I get
some
it.
people, it's like, "Oh, you like, if it'll just give me nightmares." I mean, because there's that said, we've talked about it before, like, Get Out, like, I don't wanna say, like, smart or, like, a more psychological thriller horror I'm more interested in, but the straight up horror, I can't. I can't. I will like, there's at no point in time am I like, "This is what I wanna watch." This is like, "Oh, I'm gonna date somebody, and this is their favorite genre, and I really, really like them, and I'm young, and so I'm gonna sit through this." But I'm too old for that now. I'm married. I don't need to do that. And truthfully, that would be like a deal breaker. I probably would just that wouldn't be the person for me.
That's funny. That could be a funny short film where like, oh, like that's either the guy or the girl, or
It's like an anniversary or something, and she
no,
brings
not
up
an
her
anniversary. They're like really into this. They've kind of like going on a few dates
yeah.
already, and like the guy or the girl. I feel like you could play it on either end of it. I think though it'd probably be more funny if it's the girl who's obsessed with horror movies and like the guy is like, oh God, no, I don't want to
Yeah,
do
well, also
this.
because the guy's probably the desperate one of the 2, let's be honest.
Yeah. That could be kind of funny. No, but this is sort of a layup. Similarly to when we brought Patrick Cohen on for Superman. It was
Yeah,
like, we didn't need to know his rating. We knew what it was before we hit record. But,
yeah. Alright, well, you want me to guess on yours? I'm gonna guess on yours, I'll go your way. So, I
well,
think
here's the thing.
you're
I didn't,
okay.
okay, I won't say anything. Go ahead.
I think you're at least streaming it. Now the question is, are you going and seeing this in theaters? And that I'm gonna say this is it's not up there where you need to see this in theaters, even though you did earlier in this podcast mention like the joy of like seeing horror movie teasers or trailers in the theaters and the reaction. I feel like you enjoy the reaction of people and those jump moments at home versus in the theater are different. That said, there are so many movies that you are trying to watch in theaters that I feel like you would definitely watch when it comes to streaming, or you would rent it and watch it at home, but you wouldn't go see it in the theaters. That's what I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
What's the truth?
I want to say I'd like to see it in theaters.
But
But I didn't give you any of this, and I guess maybe it was good. So I like horror movies,
yep.
but there is a type of horror movie that I'm just like, that's not for me. And
Okay.
it's this, I feel like it sort of falls in that category. I'm not a fan of the possession type of horror movies, your sort of
Poltergeist. You wouldn't see the OG
Poltergeist,
Poltergeist. Okay. Okay.
your Amityvilles, stuff that
Exorcist. Yeah.
is feel like
Some unholy
based
creepy
on
shit.
truth, the unholy stuff,
Whoa,
like
whoa,
the
whoa, wait. Let's back up for a second. Based on truth? Sorry,
yeah, or like
wait, so Breaking Back the Dead is based on truth?
well, no,
Can
no,
we
well, I
dive
feel
into
like
that
this
for a
is
second?
well, there's like this, like again, it's not exactly that, but like stuff like the exorcism stuff, any of that, like I'm like all you've heard of all the Conjuring movies that they've
Yeah,
come out,
yeah, yeah.
like I that's does not interest me. I don't want to
Okay.
mess. I don't mess with that. I don't mess with that with like I stay away. I won't touch it with a 10-foot pole.
Okay.
I will
Interesting.
say that fears me. I don't. So
No, no, hey, we're in the
that
same boat. We're in the
yeah,
same boat on that one.
I
So
just
wait, so
like
would
you
you
know what?
stream this? Would you stream this?
So like yeah, so that's the background on that, and I feel like that's sort of adjacent in that. So like, I mean, I've heard good things about Talk to Me. I want to see that. I've kind of hesitated on it because it is kind of like in that kind of category a bit, being able
Yep.
to talk to the dead, blah 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 blah. So I want to see Talk to Me first. I'm gonna pull the trigger. I'm gonna do it. I'll watch it. And then that will inform what I'm gonna do. So TBD. My
Okay.
first
I have a
TBD.
I
I
have a
don't
question.
know.
Remember there was like a TV show in like the 2000s, I think, with I can't remember who the actress is. I don't think it was the actress, and it was she like worked in a morgue and she could talk to dead people. It was like Ghost, it wasn't Ghost Horse or Ghost Whisperer or something like that, but it wasn't Elijah Dushku as the main lead,
It
but I think it
was
was
or was it?
I feel like that's what it is in my head, but I don't think it was. I think
Well,
it's
there was a show with Jennifer Love Hewitt. She
Jennifer
Ghost
Love
Whisperer.
Hewitt. Yes.
It was that
Yes,
one.
that one.
Okay.
Like, would you not watch that show because she's talking to the dead and like it's too close to reality?
No, just
No.
because I think it's just the way it's presented. I don't think it
Okay,
would
okay.
be
You don't like the like talking to the dead coming back and eating our faces.
eating our faces. Yeah, I mean, no, I just like there
But
are
like
like
28 days later, do you see that
oh yeah,
in
yeah,
theaters?
zombies. Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah. That's
okay.
fine.
But
But
like
like
zombies is essentially bath salts, right? Like that is real.
so I mean, this one is just sort of like
Yeah.
it's not like I mean, it's sort of like in between all that. So, but I'm intrigued just because this teaser's really well done, and it's like, wow, this
Mhm.
looks like it's got a really good vibe. So yeah, TBD. My first
Okay,
TBD.
well, cool. Oh, no, I like that. I like that because it transitions really well into our question for the comments. So the question for if Spotify or whatever, I can leave comments. Um, the question is, if you're not a horror movie fan, what would get you to watch a horror movie? And, maybe it's a hot date, as discussed previously, or, I saw Get Out in the theaters. I think part because the director, part because I don't know if I'd consider Nope a horror movie necessarily, a little bit. But like I saw that in the theaters because I don't know, the director, it got so many good reviews from people that don't normally watch horror movies that I was like, okay, I gotta see this. Or if it's like kind of funny, like there's what is it, Summer of Hell? Or Hell of a Summer? What's the one
Hell of a
we
summer. Yeah.
reviewed? Hell of a Summer? Like that didn't look really like horror. That's more like horror comedy. Or we talk, Hard Eyes is kind of what is it? Rom-com horror.
Yeah, it's just the
Um
slashers. Like those again,
yeah,
those are
yeah,
hard to be scary. Like this is
yeah.
like this
This will
film,
give
these
you
filmmakers
nightmares.
are like making like stuff that's gonna mess you up and like disturb you. It really it can scare you. Like, whoa. That's the issue with slasher movies nowadays. Like you can't make those scary. And they're to me, they're easy to digest. That's why I'm like, oh whatever. It's the same stuff. This isn't.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. So, if you like podcasts, please subscribe to this one. Also, feel free to throw in a rating on whatever podcast app you are listening on. And as always, the poll is, are you seeing this movie? Opening night, streaming it, if nothing else on, or a hard pass like me. Thank you for listening. As always, check out the description. We put links to all of the movies that we discuss, the trailers for them. Uh, yeah. Thank you.
Cool. Later.